Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Scryfall Shenanigans. So you'll notice a bit of a theme emerging now. This is about the third one of this type I've done, I think. And what I'm doing at the moment is I'm experimenting with starting off with a single card. I just needed a little bit of letting the universe decide for a while. So, full disclosure, I have been leaning heavily into this feature, and I'll sort of click on it a few times until I just see a card that for some reason resonates with me, for whatever reason, even if I don't know exactly why, and then we'll just go with that. So we're going to try this for a few weeks. Let me know how you're finding it, but give it a bit of a chance. So I would say, watch the next 3 or 4, and then, give me some feedback as to whether you're enjoying it like this. And I can, going forward after that, I can either keep up with it or, I'll probably end up doing some sort of hybrid where I'll do some of these and then I'll do some where I'm looking at certain themes in Magic. But of course, the good thing with this is the idea is, although I'm starting off with a single card, ultimately it will open up a theme as I shoot the video. I do a little bit of prep because, as happened with this one, as I was prepping, getting ready to do it, after doing very little prep, I noticed an interesting thing come up, so I needed to just double check something. So we've already got an interesting rabbit hole stroke chasm has opened up for you to potentially explore and experiment and discover, and I'll include all the starting links for these, plus maybe any other ones that aren't easy to rediscover if you want to go back through. So we're starting off with Debilitating Injury. So it's a 1 and a black, enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2. So it does this interesting removal thing that you see a lot on black cards, where it's minusing the power and the toughness. Now in other cards, removal or suppression, for some I suppose more, works in different ways. So with red it just sort of burns it out. It might do so much damage, boom. In blue you sometimes see this thing where it'll nerf the power in some way, but not necessarily the toughness. And then you've got all sorts of variations in between. But it is an interesting rabbit hole to go down. Obviously, we've got this on an enchantment, on an aura, but obviously there's cards where it's like a one-shot thing as well. So this sort of stays on. So we'll see where we go with this. Now, straight away, you'll notice this. At this point, I'm recording the video. This particular card, and we'll probably see there's functional reprints and various other things, but we've got sort of 3 versions of it, one of which is Magic Online promos. We've got the Khans of Tarkir, and then this thing called Ugin's Fate. Now I actually had to look this up. If you go in and bring up there's 26 Ugin's Fate cards, and here my memory was a little bit hazy. I had a feeling it was something to do with pre-releases, and then so I had to go and check, and sure enough, the Fate Reforged pre-release 2015 this was, players get to choose their clan while they completed 3 achievements. They follow Sarkin's footsteps to attempt to alter fate. They get to heal Ugin and gain a glimpse of the future. The latter comes in the form of special Ugin's Fate booster packs containing 2 alternate art cards, of which, as you can see there, Debilitating Injury was one. That show how the world has changed in the new timeline. So there was this timeline thing going on in this particular block that Fate Reforged was part of. And one of so you've got 2 alternate arts, a manifest token, and then 1 of 10 Fate Reforged basic land cards. and as I think I already said, 26 alternate art cards for the those two come from, and 13 were from Khan's Atakir, and 13 from Fate Reforged. Hollow foil. The art on the reprints from Khan's were dragonified to show off the new timeline where Ugin was saved by a Psychic Volt. Art on the reprints from Fate Reforged were Uginified by featuring Ugin in some form in their artwork. That's funny. Uginified. Right, so yeah, they're all here. So I will include a link to this section of the article. So yeah, let's get back to the starting cards. So Debilitating Injury. So yeah, you may be familiar with cards like Dead Weight. So Debilitating Injury is 1 and a black, -2/-2. Dead Weight is a single black -2/-2. So yeah, this is worse than this. Then we get things like Enfeeblement. So it's better than Enfeeblement because Enfeeblement requires 2 black, so harder to cast. But of course that gets easier if you're in a mono black deck where you've only got access to black mana anyway. So yeah. And this was the bit that piqued my interest, which was removal creature toughness. So yeah, there are a number of ways this manifests itself in Magic. What I'm going to do, and we've been down this before in another episode, and we'll put this in order. Yeah, all the way back to Weakness, which had this what do you call it, asymmetrical thing, so -2/-1. And you can see, yeah, historically there's different things going on here. So we've got this Spirit Shackle, which was back when it was created in Legends, was putting -0/-2 counters on target creature every time it becomes tapped. So that's an interesting way of doing things. You can see, so we got quite a few here that are using counters. And some of these are enchantments. So let me try and just separate out the auras actually from everything else. So if we do type aura, and then I'll do stuff that's not auras. So we got 54 auras, but you can see some of these were doing strange things with counters rather than just doing a straight, this is whatever now. This is, power toughness, in this case, +2/-2, immolation. Essence Fate was doing +2/+0, but then was doing stuff with -0/-1 counters. Yeah, so we've got some real interesting stuff. And then, what would you say, probably the first time it gets, I don't know if I want to use the term modern here to describe it because it's pre-modern, but, really now we're getting into this power toughness depletion as we sort of see it, or might be familiar with it now. But we've still got things like, the whole Flowstone thing going on, +1/-1, also with like this Medusa card as well. And you can see there's some asymmetrical shenanigans going on all over the place, where you get the power boost, but you get toughness depletion. And of course these ones are the sort of ones you would want to use on your own creatures for various reasons. But, on small creatures, then, you can use it as removal. So there's interesting sort of duality there for some of these. We've got some Scaling X stuff as well. and here it's sort of part of a modal thing. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Things like clinging darkness, -4, -1. So they were doing quite a bit with these sort of asymmetrical boosts and depletions. There's dead weight. -2, -2. Single black. You got stab wound, which was 2 in the black, but it had this extra ability on it. And you've got crippling blight, which is a -1, -1. So you can see there's several here, which there's twists on them that might be set dependent, but I'm trying to find where's the it's a -3, -3 one. Oh, I know why. Yeah. So yeah, that's the auras. If we flip it and just see like all the stuff that isn't an aura, just as so you can see, you know, we've got various creatures here. We've got a number of instants, and often, you know, when I think of this sort of, you know, minus something, where it's symmetrical, then yeah, you can see here we've got enchantments that aren't auras as well. There we go. Let's try and do this a bit more. This is getting a bit like the series almost whatever this grew out of, actually, which is I quite like enjoyed doing this like on the fly like this. So let's try this. Yeah, since we're getting old school. Oh, I often started doing these episodes. So I've just inadvertently taken. There we go. How good old funeral charm. What do we got here? 125, yeah. Okay. Defiling tears afflict. It'll come up. Last gasp was -3, -3. Disfigures -2, -2 instant speed. Tomb Hex had -2, -2 and landfall. Grasp of Darkness was the -4, -4 one, and Dismember was the -5, -5 instant. That's right. And then you got Tragic Slip. So there were a succession of these which really stick in my head for whatever reason. So things like Disfigure, Urge to Feed, Grasp of Darkness, Dismember. Because this one was the one where you had Phyrexian mana. So if you were prepared to give up some of your life for this, you could get out a -5, -5 with any colour. Yeah. So that's cool. -4. There's a Lash of the Whip, Ulcerate, Flatten. Yeah, that was the -4, -4. And got a few modal ones here as well. Torment of Venom. I imagine some of these would also be like a Wrath one. That's Profane Command. Way down. And as you saw, you know, with this. Did I? There we go. Got quite a number of creatures that it's on here in various forms. There's counter stuff. I bet there's some ETB stuff here as well somewhere along the line. That's interesting. Flow Overseer. Festering Goblin, yeah, when it leaves the battlefield, goes into the graveyard. It's like Nim Replica, does -1/-1. Yeah, there's a Keening Banshee was a ETB -2/-2 with flying, 2/2 with flying for 4, and this, yeah, -2/-2 ability. Then we got Rakdos Guild Mage, Despot Thalid, and then yeah, Drana had this interesting ability on as well. There's a Wooburg one there. Now, what are the ones then, if I take this out? I'm trying to think of the exact wording. Would it be all? Yeah. All creatures. Every target creature and all other creatures are the same name. Blight. No. Interesting that. So enfeeblement, let me just cross-check this. Remove all creature toughness. Same thing. Oh yeah, I'm just thinking of all the ones that I missed. Yeah, Auguspree, that's an instant. And then you've got this Acid Breath, Black Dragon. Wow. Of course, Blightcaster. So it's interesting, some interesting sort of variants here. This card. Spoon of Emrakul, again like an asymmetric one. And then we've got it on Cabal Pit as well. I wonder how many, I didn't check to see like how many lands it's on. If any. Oh yeah, because it's -1/-2 on Quicksand. Oh, and that's the is that the original artwork? Yeah, I think I've got Quicksand coming up in a, or it would have already gone out. Yeah, World Wake, of course. I did a World Wake. I think it turned into 17 cards video recently. Yeah, so cool. Wow, I always love how unintentionally my stuff meshes together without me really thinking about it. Okay, so let's just go into Cube Cobra for a moment and get a little bit nostalgic, see if there's anything else here comes up. I did notice going through this really quickly just before I shot the video. There's a lot of what sort of, you know, what seems to be white-black shenanigans, not surprisingly. So we've got, where was it? I noticed the pattern here. Was it Raid? like raid and dash and stuff like that. Yeah, this is the sort of thing I was thinking of in blue. It's even this -4, -0 or something else, minus whatever. Yeah. But does that... Let me just try and see if I can get through this. We need to do Scryfall. There we go. What do they class that as? Does it have a name? Hand neutral, no. Pure draw. Yeah. If anybody knows whether that has a tag name, I don't know if it does, that thing where it sort of nerfs the power but doesn't affect the toughness, whether that has a particular term. I don't know if it does, but that's an interesting term, like hand neutral. Yeah, leave you with the same amount of cards in hand after resolving. So there are 211 of those. So yeah, you'll see most of them like draw a card on them to maintain that neutrality. Oh yeah, Flicked has one on as well. Yeah, that came up, didn't it? A little chat. There's quite a few cards here I don't necessarily recognise. What's this? Target creature becomes black and gains fear until end of turn. Okay, draw a card. Single black, right. Oh, Annihilate. 3 and 2 black. Oh, I like the artwork for that. Let's just go in here. Oh, we've really gone off on a side quest here. That's it, Invasion. And it was, yeah, it was in Commander 2013 and 2014. Oh, I do like that. That's cool. Pretty high cost, but you get to draw a card. Cantrip. Yeah, I would imagine those two are going to be interrelated. Remove all creature destroy. I'm still intrigued about that possibly non-existent blue term to describe where it nerfs the power. And I'm trying to remember the other. Is it skits? Was it Skits Fang? Or I don't know. Yeah. Something Fang. Anyway, it's the images of something with like a carcass lying on a beach, I think, and it definitely does something to the power, but not the toughness, I think. Yeah. I suppose actually one way I can do this, if I do O, was it -5? Was it -5-1? Sacriphobia, and we do colour of blue. Oh, there's Hydra Surge, but that's probably not the one I was thinking of. Can I do this? Because it's definitely going to be And we really have gone off here, but that's part of the fun. That. Oh yeah. Release date. Okay. Very good. Is first printing. Whoa, what did I do there? I must have accidentally clicked a hotkey. So what I do is first printing. And then also, it was in paper, I think, wasn't it? It's data sending. Tidal influence. Wow. Bewilder. Fleeting distraction. That's it. Skiff sang. Right. -13. That was it. -13, -0. Yeah. From Dark Ascension. Yeah, so that was before Hydra Surge. Downsize. Yeah, that thing. I could see it in my head, but I knew it was something something. Essentially deprivation. That always troubles me. that stuff. There's blinding spray. Hydra lash. Oh wow. Dovin's got it on it. Dwindle is -6, -0. There's several -4, -0 ones. It's Bewilder. J Scrutiny. What's that? Code of Constraint. Freeze creature. Okay, that's because he doesn't untap. Let's befuddle again. Almost sounds like it would, a constraint effect would be a good term for it, something like that, I reckon. Because that's what you're doing, aren't you? You're sort of constraining its, its power. Huh. Okay. So I don't expect this to necessarily be in a lot of decks, but I thought I'd better go there. And just again, good excuse to see what we come up with. Oh my, what's this? What's that from? 20 best bird cards for Commander, okay. Ooh, -1/-1 counters. I like the sound of that. Let's go down that rabbit hole. Can we similar commanders? Your creature your opponent control have base toughness 1. Oh, that's pretty nasty, actually. What have we got? Oh yeah, Black Sun Zenith, of course. Yeah, Massacre Worm, oh yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Ascendant in Vicar as well. Yeah. Necroskitter. Yeah, because of Wither. Yeah, there's a whole load of Toxic Deluge. Maybe we'll see some of the Wrath ones. It's Gary. Where are we? Instance. Suffocating Fumes. And Nausea was the, yeah, that was the -1/-1 all creatures. Okay, so it is all creatures. Oh yeah, Fester Gloom, and then there's Incremental Blight. Wow. Mutilate. Okay, yeah, these were some of the cards I was trying to think of where they do it across the board. So Nausea. Have a look at that. Okay. Different artwork there. Shrivel, right. Okay. Sweeper on creature toughness. It's a question of just trying to remember what the tags were likely to be. So there we have Sweeper on creature toughness, right. So is first printing. And in paper. Yeah, there we go. Bane of the Living. I like the sound of that. Dread of Night, Nausea, Rank and File, Plague Dogs, Massacre. Yeah, so that's the -2, -2, 1. There's Infest. Okay, so now I know what I'm actually looking for. Let's just try that first of all and then go from there. Oh, there we go. Elish Norn, of course, yeah. That was another one I was trying to think of. So if we do instant speed, just trying to work out how many instant speed ones there are. And yeah, an interesting thing to do is sort of play around like this. You can see here's -1, -1. I don't know how far up it goes. I think I would guess that is it the case that a lot of Wrath stuff tends to be sorcery speed? I could be wrong there, but oh yeah, it's got some scary stuff in here. Yeah, I've got these quite a few here. Drowning Sorrow, Marsh Casualties, Biting Rain. there's the -3, -3. Oh yeah, Languish, that was it. That's the -4 one. I don't know if there'll be any beyond that. Yeah, anyway. There's another one to play around with. Well, that was interesting. All through just looking at Debilitating Injury. So, yeah, next week we've got another one. Shall I? Well, yeah, why not? So next week, I think, or sorry, I say next week. These don't necessarily run week by week, do they? Because I've got a weird cycle. But the next video I do for this type of Scryfall Shenanigans will in fact be Niv-Mizzet Reborn. Okay. So yeah, that's one I've got planned to do next. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.